scientists conducted experiments to discover what separates a truly great dog owner from everyone else. And what they found was surprising. Dogs showed certain behaviors almost exclusively toward the people they trusted most, not strangers or even others in the house. These 18 signs can reveal whether you're truly a great dog owner or not. Number 1, the lick that was never a kissy. Everyone calls it a kiss. It is not a kiss. It is far stranger than that. Wolf pups lick the mouth of a returning adult to trigger regurgitation. Food comes back up. The pup eats. That ritual is thousands of generations old, and dogs never dropped it. Adult dogs kept the gesture and lost the purpose. What is left is a greeting reserved for family. So when he goes for your chin and your mouth as you come through the door, he is doing the thing a wolf does to a hunter walking back into camp. A guest does not get this. A guest gets sniffed at the knees, and notice where he aims. Not your shoe, not your bag, your face, the only part of you that carries breath. He is welcoming you home in a language older than your house. Now watch what happens when he uses teeth instead of tongue. Number 2, the teeth that never close. He takes your wrist in his mouth, full jaw, zero pressure. Do the math on that for a second. A dog that size can generate a bite force that snaps bone. What he applied to your arm was measured in grams. That is bite inhibition. Puppies learn it in the litter by around 8 weeks, from siblings who scream and quit the game the moment it hurts. You did not teach him this. He learned it from his own family, and he is now applying the rule to you. Here is the part that matters. He does not do this to visitors at all. Teeth on a stranger is not a gentler version of the same thing. It is a different behavior with a different meaning. A soft mouth is not permission. It is inclusion. That is his mouth sorted. Now say his name and watch his head. Number 3, the head. Tilt you have never questioned. You say a word. The head goes sideways. You have filmed it. You have sent it to people. You have never once asked why it happens with some words and not others. Researchers in Budapest asked and then actually counted. Dogs tilted far more often for words that meant something to them, like the names of their own toys, than for sounds that carried no meaning at all. The tilt is not confusion. It looks like retrieval, and meaning has to come from somewhere. Nobody builds a vocabulary from a stranger. Every word living inside that head was put there by one voice, saying it the same way, in the same house, for years. A visitor can say the identical word and get nothing back. Say his favorite word tonight in a flat, bored tone. Watch the tilt happen anyway. Words are the slow way he reads you. The fast way happens at the door. Number 4, the sniff he takes of your face. He does it in the first few seconds. Not your hands, not your bag, your mouth, your breath, your collar. You duck away from it. Stop ducking. Human beings leak. Sweat carries chemical signals, and researchers have shown that dogs exposed to the odor of a stressed person behave differently from dogs given the odor of a calm one. Same room, same human, different chemistry. So that sniff is a debrief. Where you went, who you touched, what kind of day it actually was, rather than the one you are about to describe. And he cannot run this on anyone else, because nobody else's baseline is stored in his head. He knows exactly what you smell like at your normal. That is the only reason a bad day registers as different at all. He is checking on you before you have said a word, and once he has read you, he will believe almost anything you tell him. Almost. Number 5, the finger. He actually follows. Point at something across the room. He looks where you point. That sounds like nothing until you learn that chimpanzees are terrible at it. Our closest relative mostly stares at the finger. Dogs read the intention behind it, and they arrive able to do it. But here is the part that belongs in this list. A team in Japan ran the experiment with a twist. A person pointed at a container holding food, and the dogs followed. Then that same person pointed at an empty one. On the next round, the dogs stopped following them entirely. They were not obeying a gesture. They were keeping a record of whether that particular human was worth believing. A stranger who misleads them once is finished. So every time he looks where you point, understand what happened. He has been auditing you for years. Every promise you ever made with your hand, and you passed. That is what he does when you are in the room. What he does when you are not is stranger. Number 6. The clothes he lies on when you are gone. You come home and he is on your side of the bed, on the hoodie you left on the chair, in your seat, the one you have told him 100 times to get off. You call it naughty. It is not naughty, it is self-medication. At Emory University, dogs were trained to lie still and awake inside an MRI scanner while different scents were passed under their noses. Strange dogs, familiar dogs, strange humans, and their own person. Only one of them switched on the reward center of the brain like a light. Theirs. Not humans in general. One human. He is not lying on fabric. He is lying inside the only version of you available while you are gone. So tomorrow, before you leave, put a worn shirt in his bed, not a washed one, and then pay attention to the moment you walk back in, because what happens in the first 3 seconds is something most owners never even receive. Number 7. The look he gives you. In the first 3 seconds, bag on your shoulder, phone in your hand, tomorrow already running in your head. And he does something almost no dog does with a stranger. He finds your eyes and holds them. Not your hand, not the food cupboard, your face. In dog language, that stare is a threat. Dogs do not hold eye contact with each other casually. It starts fights. He is breaking his own species' rule, and he only breaks it for a human he has already filed as safe. A visitor never gets it. A boarding kennel worker never gets it. Not in a year of trying. Most owners never receive it either, because they never stop moving long enough to be looked at. So tomorrow, drop the bag first. Before you touch him, give him 3 seconds of your face, and once he trusts you that far, he does something far riskier. Number 8. Why he turns his back on you. He climbs onto the couch beside you, settles down, and turns away. And somewhere in your chest it stings a little. He could have faced you. That sting is a misunderstanding, and it is costing you the best compliment he knows how to give. A dog turns his back on whatever he has decided he does not need to watch. He is facing the doorway, the stairs, the direction trouble comes from. He has taken the guard shift so that you do not have to. Now watch the same dog in a kennel or in a stranger's house. Spine to the wall, chin on paws, facing the open room because he cannot afford to trust the space behind him. Yours puts that space against your leg and shuts his eyes. Tonight, do not call him around. Just notice which way his body points. And if his body is worth reading, his tail is worth measuring. Number 9, the wag that leans right. Everybody knows a wagging tail. That is the problem. On its own, it tells you almost nothing. The direction tells you everything. A research team in Barrie filmed dogs meeting different things and measured the wag frame by frame. Seeing their own owner pulled the tail wider to the right side of the body. Seeing something threatening pulled it left. 2 halves of the brain, 2 opposite meanings, hidden inside the same happy blur. Nobody earns the right side wag by handing out treats. It is not about who feeds him. It is about who he has already decided is his. Film your homecoming in slow motion and watch which side dominates. Then compare it to the delivery man at the gate. High tail, stiff, straight, up and down. That is arousal, not affection, and owners confuse the two every single day. That is what he does at the door. Now, go and watch him at his bowl. Number 10. The meal. He interrupts for you. He is halfway through his food, and then he stops, walks out of the kitchen, finds you in the other room, checks on you, and goes back to finish. Owners see this and assume they have a fussy eater. He is not fussy. He found something in the house worth more than a full bowl, and it was you. A dog will not do this in a boarding kennel. Put the same dog somewhere unfamiliar and he eats fast and empties the bowl because food is uncertain and nobody in that building is worth walking away from it for. Some will barely eat at all. The interruption only exists where a dog is completely certain the food will still be there when he returns, and completely certain the human is worth checking on. Two certainties, both of them you, and a dog that certain starts giving away parts of himself that nothing in nature gives away. Number 11. The belly. Nobody asked for. He rolls over in the middle of the floor, legs open, throat exposed, and stays there. Half the internet will tell you that means submission. Get this one right, because it is two completely different behaviors wearing the same shape. A frightened dog shows the belly with a tucked tail, a stiff body, and his head turned away. That is appeasement, and it is the version strangers get. Yours does something else. Loose spine, legs flopping in the air, mouth slightly open. He rolls over in front of you and then falls asleep like that. He has voluntarily opened the one part of the body that nothing in nature exposes without a reason. No dog does that in a waiting room, in a kennel, or in a house he has not cleared. Look at the tail next time. Tucked is fear. Loose is a verdict. That is the loud version. The quiet version lands on your foot. Number 12. The chin on your foot. You are working. He walks over, lies down, and rests his chin on your foot. You barely register it. A dog's head is the heaviest and most protected thing he owns, and putting it down on a moving human is on paper a terrible idea. Feet move, feet leave. Any dog who is unsure keeps his head up and his eyes on the door. He is not just touching you, he is using you as a sensor. If you move, he wakes. He has wired his own alarm system directly into your body so that he can stop monitoring everything else. You will never see him do it to a guest, no matter how much that guest loves dogs. They get a dog lying nearby. You get a dog plugged in. Tonight, when it lands, do not move your foot, and the same instinct decides which room he sleeps in. Number 13. The door he lies in. You go to the kitchen, he follows. You go upstairs, he follows. You shut the bathroom door, and you find him lying across the hallway when you come out. Everybody laughs about this one. Almost nobody looks at where he lies. Watch the position, not the middle of the room, the doorway, the gap, between you and the rest of the house facing out. That is not a shadow, and it is not clinginess. That is a checkpoint. Leave him with a sitter and the whole thing inverts. He picks a corner, somewhere he can keep the humans in front of him, because in that house nobody has earned a door yet. Guarding a gap is something a dog only does once he has chosen what is behind it. So tonight, notice the gap he picks. It will always be the one thing would have to come through to reach you. He does all that inside four walls. Now, take the walls away. Number 14. The look back on the trail. Off the lead, in open ground, with the entire world available to him. He runs, and then, with no call, no whistle, no reason at all, he stops and turns his head to find you, then goes back to running. Trainers call this checking in. You cannot install it, you can reward it once it appears, but a dog only produces it on his own for someone he actively wants to keep track of. Every dog runs. Not every dog looks back. Hand the same dog to a walker he does not trust, and the head stays forward the whole way, because there is nobody behind him worth confirming. Next open space, do not call him. Say nothing at all, and count how many times he checks. Under a minute between glances, and you are not walking a dog. You are being kept. But there's something even more personal he does when he knows you're staying. Number 15. The way he sleeps when you're near. Look at your dog the next time he's completely asleep beside you. His legs are loose, his breathing slows, his head drops, and sometimes he doesn't even react when you move. That matters. A sleeping dog is vulnerable. He can't watch the room, track every sound, or react instantly to everything around him. So, where a dog chooses to completely relax can tell you a lot about how safe he feels. Some dogs sleep lightly in unfamiliar places, constantly lifting their heads at every sound. But at home, beside their person, they may stretch out, expose their side, rest their head against you, and disappear into the deepest sleep. He isn't ignoring you, he's doing the opposite. He's saying, in the only way a sleeping dog can, I don't need to watch everything when you're here. And once you notice that, there's one final behavior that's even harder to fake. Number 16. The moment he checks on you. You're sitting quietly. You're not holding food. You're not calling his name. You're not doing anything interesting. He's across the room, and suddenly, he looks at you, just for a second. Then he goes back to whatever he was doing. Most owners don't even notice it. But that's the point. He wasn't asking for anything. He wasn't waiting for a treat. He simply wanted to know where you were. And dogs can form strong social bonds with their humans, so these little voluntary check-ins can become part of the way they stay connected to the person they trust. Next time your dog is busy playing, exploring, or lying across the room, don't call him. Just watch. If he stops, looks over, finds your eyes, and then goes back to what he was doing, you just caught one of the quietest signs that you matter to him, even when you have nothing to offer. And sometimes, the strongest bond isn't the dog who never leaves your side, it's the dog who has complete freedom to ignore you, but keeps choosing to check where you are. Now go back through those and count. Honestly, not the ones you want him to do, the ones you have actually watched this week. Then drop that number in the comments. Just the number, nothing else. That number is not a score for your dog. It is a score for you. Anyone can fill a bowl. Anyone can hold a lead. Very few people ever become the thing a dog turns his back on a doorway to protect, or walks away from food to check on, or stops running to find. If you lost count, he has not settled for you. He chose you. And if you have ever stood in an open field and watched him turn around for no reason at all, type the word trail. I want to see how many of you have been getting that message for years without ever knowing what he was saying.